Today my challenge is to make this bodice a little bit bigger across here. It needs about 3 inches. The person said the sleeve holes are too small, and she suggested that I take this off and make the sleeve holes a little bit bigger. So I am taking off those sleeve holes. Lace, I will make them bigger. Now what she thought that I could do was to add some extra fabric on the back. That I could add some extra fabric here. But I have a better idea. I think I'll add extra fabric here and here. It needs about 3 inches, so I would divide that in half, 1.5 inches on this side and 1.5 inches on that side. So I will separate these two seams, and I will use this lace to cover the fabric that I put in here so it will match the bodice of the dress, and that will make the dress bigger. At the same time that I'm working on this dress, I am also making bagels. I was sent this wonderful magnifying light, which really is a great help to my failing eyesight. It really helps me to see those little threads as I use my seam ripper to pull them out. The edge that I'm tearing out is a serged edge, so it has like 4 rows of stitches to remove. And I want to be very careful not to rip the delicate lace. When sewing, oftentimes ripping out stitches is just part of the whole process. This light magnifies my work 10 times. It also has the ability to dim or brighten or change from warm to cool lighting to fit your needs. I will put the link for the product in the description below the video if you're interested in it. They're going to the freezer, and they can be easily taken out and tossed into the toaster to heat up enough to make sandwich or have them with cream cheese. I do pre-cut them. Ouch, it's hot. They're not very hot. We have sesame topped, poppy seed topped, then I have a multiple seed topped in the oven now. That's not all. I also have bread rising right here for dinner rolls for dinner. Yeah, we women do a lot of multitasking. I like having this magnifying light mirror. I can actually see what I'm doing clearly because I have terrible eyesight and it's progressively getting worse. But this makes it so that I can see clearly what I'm doing, and it stays exactly where I put it. This is great. This is a tool that I have been needing because I don't want to accidentally snag the fabric. I want to make sure I'm only pulling out the serged edge. She wanted the sleeves bigger, so I cut 1 inch. That actually added 2 more inches because it's double-sided, you know, inch on this side, inch on that side, and I just run it into the edge. And that's not big enough, but I took into consideration that I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches in here, so that will give her the extra room so that the sleeves will be big enough. So now I need to take apart the side seams. Now the skirt is gathered, but right at the side seams there's not a whole lot of gathering, so I may have to take out part of this to ease in the skirt to the bodice, to fit the extra space that's going to be here. I like this little magnifying light. It's lightweight and portable, and I moved it to my kitchen because I am in the kitchen working. And right now the bagels are cool, so it's time to cut them up and put them away in the freezer. Here's my electric knife. 1 And I don't cut all the way through. I like to leave it attached on a little part so they stays together. And I place 2 to a bag, one for my husband and one for me, and they go into the freezer. These bags need to go to the freezer. Stopped. Now I can get back to my sewing project. Sewing the individual piece that I've put in. After sewing it together, of course I have it unzipped so it's easier to work, I'm going to trim the lace, and I'm going to use this leftover fabric, or this side, this leftover fabric, to fold it over and pin it down to give it a nice finished edge. So get the fabric out of the way, and we'll get rid of excess bulk by trimming off the lace. I don't have a serging machine, so I cannot do serged edges. So my way of giving it a nice finish, folding this over and pinning it down, and then I will hand stitch it so that it will be flat, and that way there's no bulkiness under the arm. So it has a smooth finish. Now the fabric that I've inserted is pretty close to the same color. It's only just a shade off, but it's covered, it's overlaid with the same lace that was on the ruffle that was on the sleeve, so that's going to work. After I hand stitch these, then I will attach the bodies to the skirt, and then I will finish off the armholes. Once again, I'm using my great little magnifying light to stitch up the lining, and I want to use tiny stitches so that they don't show, and I'm only stitching through the back side because I didn't want to have any top stitching coming around to the front, so this really helps me to get little tiny stitches. Great help. I attached seam binding joined together at an angle, and before I flip it over, I'm going to trim the bulk lace, so fold back both sides and trim off the lace. Bulk is gone. Now to the inside, I want to fold. I'm going to open this up, and then I want to fold it around to this side. Well, some of it seems a little big, so I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. Just trim off a little extra. Okay, so we take this and we fold it to cover all the seam allowance and fold it over one more time. So there we have our lace edge, and we'll start pinning it down. And this will serve as a facing on the inside of the sleeve, which will trim it off nicely. Let me just get rid of some threads here. Fold it over and then bring it to the back side. Bias tape will stretch as it goes around the curves, so you can easily stretch it so that it fits the space, because it is a fabric that's cut on the bias, and because of that, that's what gives it the stretch. So you can make it fit the curve. And that's going to give a nice finished edge to the sleeve. I am going to sew this by hand because I only want to catch through the backing. I don't want to see the stitches on the front, and then when I'm all done, I'll press it and it will be finished. Okay, it's all pinned. The sleeves are bigger and the bodice is wider, with a little piece that was added between underneath the arm, so it's hardly noticeable. And that was the easiest way to make this bigger. I hope you got something out of this little alteration sewing project.